Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to manually add parts of speech tags onto words within your WordCruncher book. Now this isn't something you're going to do all the time. If you have thousands of words at least, then it's going to be very tedious for you to do this. Usually you're going to use something like a programming language like Python. That's very normal for you to be able to get the parts of speech information for every word within a text. And we'll show you how to do that in our next month video, where we'll show you how we add parts of speech onto on WordCruncher Books. If you use the WordCruncher indexer to convert your files, then the chances are you are going to have two different files. One is the ETBU file, which you can add to WordCruncher directly, and then the other is an eText file, which looks maybe something like this, although this is a very simplified one just for the purpose of what we're doing. And so what we'll do is we're going to add the parts of speech onto a few of these words just to show you how to do it and how it works, and just kind of the guide that you need to look at in order for you to be able to figure out how to do that. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to add a new tag right above or right below the eText tag. So I'm going to type in POS-tagged with a /. So this is empty, although in another video we'll probably explain what might go in here so that you can customize your part of speech tagging quite a bit. But for right now, for this very basic video, we're going to show how that works. And so if you were to index this right now, there's not going to be any parts of speech. So let's try to figure out how do we make this specifically an adjective. Like, how do we add the word adjective or some kind of data on it to be adjective? And similar for this. This is a plural noun. What if we wanted to add information that it's a plural noun? We'll do that, and then we'll show you what it looks like within WordCruncher. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into wordcruncher.com, and then I'm going to go select the guide. And then near the bottom, there's this thing under Toolkit documentation called eText docs. So this is a documentation for everything about the eText. And down near the middle of this page is called part of speech tagging. And there's two lists that are very important for what we want to do. The primary part of speech tags are all of the different tags that you might use specifically just for saying this is an adjective, noun, verb. There's many of them, although even though there might be only 6 or 7 that you're working with, we have a list of all the different maybe possible primary part of speech, and then of course an other if it doesn't really fit into any of the things that you're doing. But for right now, we're just doing basic things. So let's look at this right here where we've got adjective. So in order to add adjective onto our word specific, then we need to add this code right here, ADJ, onto this word right here. Okay, so I appended it with an underscore. That way, if I did this, it would just think that that is not very useful information. Or it will just add it, and then you'll see ADJ within the book rather than really adding it within your own book. Let's do the next word as well. If we have a plural noun, let's go look to see how do we add noun to this. And for here, we just use the first letter N. So we can say underscore N. But like I said, we might want to add something like the information plural onto that word. So for that information, we're going to actually need to open up the secondary parts of speech. So this is going to talk about anything like that's usually about adjectives and adverbs, numerals, conjunctions, things like that. And I'm just going to search onto my page for the word plural. And so in order to get that information, we're going to add the code PL for plural. But we're not going to just paste it like that. We need to add a period and then PL. So anytime you're adding anything, the first thing needs to be a primary part of speech, like noun, adjective, or verb. But then anything else we can do right here where we can say .pl. All right, let's try, for example, this one where we have the word R. Okay, so what we'll need to do is we'll need to go up and find the one for verb, which is just the letter for B. All right, so let's say we wanted to specify that and say, well, this is actually a present tense verb. Now there's a lot more information we could add about it, but let's just put present for right now. So I'll look for the word present, and so that is going to be PRES, just like that. So I'll go right after V, press period, and I'm going to paste. Oops, I got a tab somewhere there on accident, but that's basically all that is. Now you might be wondering, how does this period affect like normal periods? Or how does this underscore underscores that are just supposed to be underscores? And the answer, at least for the period, is as long as that there's not an underscore right before it, you're going to be fine. But as far as an underscore, let's say I have just some text that's like this method. Let's say it's like a programming kind of thing. Then what this is going to do is it's going to mess this up and actually interpret this as a part of speech. And I'll tell you right now, method is not a part of speech, so we're going to have a little bit of a problem. So one thing that you'll need to do before adding any parts of speech is I would recommend doing a search and replace. And what we'll do is we're going to search for any of these underscores before this, of course, so we're going to ignore them. And we're just basically going to put this tag around it, which is basically a hard character. So I'm going to just find it and replace it. So I just basically made this a not special character representing part of speech anymore. Now, underscores are pretty uncommon, so like this would really only be necessary if you have a part of speech book or like a book that has underscores within it for whatever reason. So that would need to be done prior to ever adding any of these other underscores. Now if we did the same thing to this, then what we'll see is that R underscore V pres will actually show up within the book. So what I'll do, just to kind of show you and visualize this, is if we open up our indexer again, and then I'm just going to select that test tagging etext, then it will have updated the ETBU file so that I can just open that up again. And what you can see is this has an underscore. Even though we have v.pres after it, it's because we added that ch tag around this underscore. And the same thing goes for here. So like this is a normal underscore. But what about these two? So you can't actually see anything, but if you go to Book Options and select Parts of Speech right there and click OK, now you notice that there's specific details right there. If I open my word wheel, you'll notice that they also have this N and ADJ right next to them. And I can add a column that shows the parts of speech, which are going to be blank for all the other words that I haven't tagged until I take the time to tag them. And you'll see that the underscore is also still present in these two things because of that ch tag. So if I want to fix that, I would just delete these, at least for this one. This one you would probably want to keep. But anyway, that's all for this video. One thing that I would keep in mind is that if you have any questions about how to really deal with this, if you don't see something on here that you need to be using, then we will definitely make a new video, or we'll create a new video for you for another month that will go over these specific things. So don't worry about that. But the next version of this video will be about how to programmatically do this so that you don't really need to do any of the guesswork or the manual work of actually tagging an entire book or an entire corpus. It will all just be done for you without ever having to really go to this specific page to figure it out. But of course that means that you might need some experience with Python. So we'll do that one next video in the next series for this video, and then the third video will be about specifically how do we add user-defined or custom kinds of things, which you can read about in this section anyway if you are interested and want to learn more about it. And yeah, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you next month.